Hello world. Patricia, O'Connor, Frida, Reba, Darcy. Here it is the second Wednesday of the month. I think it's like the 10th or something. Uh, that can only mean one thing. We play hokey pokey on the balcony. Hokey pokey on the balcony. And by that I mean I do the big turnaround on some of these trees. This is the second Wednesday. Somebody pointed out a few months back, it might have either, I can't remember now if it was Lee of Lee's Trees, or maybe it was, Ouija Bonsai and Ouija California, who pointed out that they got paid twice a month, and they would use their paydays as a cue to rotate their trees once a month, twice, every 2 weeks basically. So, that was a good idea. And I had been, about that time, I had just rotated a few of my trees, but not all of them. And I thought, okay, we'll do that again next time, because it was really close to that this time. And I haven't rotated this one yet. It's one of the easier ones for me to do. But if you can see, you can see that we've got some really good even foliage, and then we've got this cavity here. This is the part that was facing outward for quite a while. I left it hollow feature out for quite a while, and the end result is that we had an area there of less activity right there, dead center, kind of sun, seemingly to me, I could be wrong, but seemingly, where the sun tracks. So I thought that was odd, and I rotated it around just a couple of weeks ago, and I've been looking to see what the end result was, and we've gotten back, this should do more when I rotate it around now. It'll be interesting to see next time around whether some of this stuff, you see I just cut this nub back. That was a nub, and these were smaller, not doing a whole lot. So I clipped their ends at some point, and I re-chopped that in, and those have grown back out. Hopefully, some of that and some of this other stuff that's kind of, that could go either way. It's back here in shadow on its own accord. That's something I probably could have chopped back when I was doing a little prune back. But that's kind of the basic idea, is to everybody gets a little bit. What we did do is I rotated around my ponderosa, which also I think is a good thing. It takes a lot of those buds that we have under wrap. It takes a lot of those buds that we have under wrap out of direct sunlight, which this is a good time of year to be doing that. I'm also just looking at that, and I'm seeing where some of the wires biting in really well, and whereas I normally wouldn't be that totally hysterical about it, because those are branches that may well and truly be on their way out. A couple of them are losing sap where they're biting in. I may ought to look at that. I may ought to do some wire removal on that. And this would be wire that was originally applied by the collector. Was not done by me. So that might be a project coming up here shortly. If you can see, but there's a lot of beautiful. Yeah, so that's the concern, that it's biting in too much for me to see that coming out of there in between the wires like that. I suppose that also could be an insect or something, but I wouldn't suspect that. Also, let's see. We rotated our cork bark oak. It has one position where it is bowing to us. I just bowed with camera, And this is it. This is it's bowing to us position. I'll see if I can come around it. It kind of does that. I don't know how well that reads. I'm leaning too far into the cypress tree. And it just takes it. It just puts up with it. Which the cypress trees are looking good and doing nice. I got butterscotch smelling sap on my fingers from touching the sap of that ponderosa. And now I can't steady my other hand with camera because I've got sap all over them. That pine really greens up on the sunny side out. I swapped positions with the maples. They're already starting to show signs of a little bit of my powdery mildew because I've been watering it from the top like you're not supposed to do and getting the leaves wet and they're too small to deal with that. I thought I would counteract that damage or potential damage by soaping them afterwards with a little couple of shots of Dawn and some water. That didn't really slow them down. That's basically watering them twice, I think. Either that or I'm not getting the coverage on there that I should be because I'm still seeing a lot of damage. I don't know. You can see some back down in there. I've already kind of gone through and tried to pick a lot of it away to give room for more stuff to come through and bud out if it wants to. But I rotated this guy from one layer below, took one rack of the pines, moved it over there. I think they're still going to be fine with that. These guys are doing fine there. This got rotated, like I said. This tray of pines got moved to there. I think that's a good location for now. And I no longer have anything over there except a watering can. The tri-net maple, it can't rotate. That would put it pretty square into the wall. The good news is it's fine with that for now, and the way we've shortened it, it's also fine with that for now. I can rotate it this way to get this side if we get concerned with it, whereas I guess we're favoring this side. But we're also waiting to make a smaller, shorter tree out of that guy. And so that's it. I think it's a good idea to rotate your trees. Most of the time they're not in a place where they're going to get like 360 that's even, because that would, most places on earth aren't like that. But, as the sun arcs across the sky, it has different intensity as the day bears. So it gets this intensity of this and that intensity of that. One side gets okay light, the other side gets over intense light, or back and forth. And we also see that in how they move and twist with the light. Sometimes they fall in and out of shadow, and that will cause limbs that branch out one side to become a new apex, and we get a spiral or a twist. A quick shout out to Simply P. Its new round of needles is coming out nicely, a little long for my liking, but that's okay. We're glad to see it. Let it get all big and fat and sassy and stuff. I'm thinking that I should probably go back in here and reapply a little bit more peat moss or sphagnum moss, whatever the heck that was. What I would like to see is more roots come out in here and fill this area so that ultimately we've got some kind of woody root mass that comes down to there, and we won't see this reverse taper where the trunk picks up extra thick and then the roots take off from there. This is basically a knot of a tree that's twisted, sticking out of this root mass, and I'd like it to fill in more over there. So in order to make that happen, I think we've got this good bed going here. The rest of the tree says that the root mass is doing cool things. This stays wet a little long still. I don't know how many roots I have in there or whether or not it's just filling it up the bottom, but we'll get a handle on that at some part. The good news is I assume the pot's filling up with roots nicely because the rest of the tree is filling up, and it's also it's moving its water along at a nice rate. And we still see some yellow from our heat damage last year, but it's greening up more all the time, and then this year's needles are coming out really strong and healthy and green and a little long, but that's okay. We're feeding it and we're encouraging all that stuff to happen. I'm pretty excited then with most of what we did last year. We within the last year and a half, we have chopped this tree in half. There was a feature that came off of here that came out this far and did another hook forward, kind of like this does. So picture another one of those out here. And then I peeled the bark back there. I need to do that a little better to reestablish that shari. And then we did the candles, and then we pruned it, and then we completely changed the angle after we did that chop, so that we made this little animal looking, this little bear shape, and then we're letting that grow out. Look, here are the original wires that are still buried in the tree from where it was on its, where at its nursery way back when. China, Japan, who knows? But it was a Brussels tree, so it was probably imported. So yeah, and whenever I saw that, I went, "Egad!" I went, "I'll never ever." And since then, I found out that, and sometimes that's it's better to leave it in there than it is to remove it. You can get something going really, really intricate and personal and neat with the tree, and when you remove it, either you lose a part of that you liked, or you render the tree really, really fragile from the removal of that. So I've got some trees now where I've just simply said no. The wire goddess here. The wire goddess is fabulous look. It's kind of a part of what we're doing here. So yeah, it can stay. And that's, you see how that's all just puffing out everywhere. That's all squeezing out in between those wires. It'll become, that's just, I love that. I think that's awesome. And if I tried to remove those wires now, I would just, I would totally wreck that. Anyway, I moved those guys to there. I have a feeling they're really going to like it, all of them except Buck Fitty. I'm not feeling really good about the chances for Buck Fitty. It's the little brown spot you can see over there in the corner. Man, that hurts. Anyway, that was the tree I did during our one of our little bonsai challenges. And yeah, I liked that tree. Anyway, well, I like them all, but just dang. I have a feeling otherwise these trees are going to really love that new location. They're going to get a little bit more sun. And I happen to know, I thought that because just been watching how this cork bark, black pine, this old guy has greened up on that side. It too will get a rotate here in a few minutes. I need to rotate that. But I had to clear out a few things first before I could get around there. I got to move this one again, but that's easy. That's a one-handed tree that'll go over here while I rotate that, and then it'll go back into place. Yeah, we're really big into rotating our trees. We did that. Some of them lean or slant a certain way, so when you rotate them, that might mean a little bit of a jockey in position. But that also might be aware of opportunities where that might open up space for something to move in to something a little bit brighter. Yeah, like and subscribe if you guys haven't already. Our next gig we'll probably come back out on the balcony tomorrow and do something nice. It's supposed to be another pretty day, and we've got stuff going on. I think, and probably now that we mentioned it, try to get in there and get some of this wire off. Might be a good Saturday Night Live show for for our Saturday Night Live Bonsai. Little quick look at our tall drink of water. That is our Literati Japanese black pine. We did a wire removal on that here recently, and it seems to have responded by doing nicely. I responded by recovering for a day and a half. That ended up being almost an all-nighter for this old one. So yeah, I appreciate you. Frida appreciates you. Looking at all of our little cypress tops. Like I said, our next gig will probably be tomorrow. We'll come back out here and do something fun. And thank you so much for watching. Look at that.